There are 3 signs that you've hit a ceiling in your physiotherapy business and you're now facing decline. Before we jump into this, my name is Tristan Bond. I'm the CEO of Practice Acceleration, and I help practice owners because they're frustrated because they're not growing fast enough. And that's because they've hit one or even more of these 3 ceilings inside their practice. Let's do this. The first sign you've hit a ceiling is if your personal time is maxed out. I know a lot of people, they try to solve their revenue issues, trying to drive more revenue by literally solving it themselves. It's an entrepreneurial myth. Hey, only I can do it. Maybe you have experienced the same. I personally have. If you're trying to put in more hours to solve the revenue problem and grow your practice, but now your hours are maxed out, guess what? You've hit a ceiling, ceiling number 1. Ceiling number 2 is this. It's your personal revenue, like what the revenue you are personally driving into the business by clinically seeing patients. If you are driving more revenue for the business by clinically seeing patients, then you're at massive risk. I mean, the whole point of having a business is to actually create people around you, create a team so that they can do the busy work, so that you can do the leadership work. So as a byproduct, you actually help more patients. But if you think about it, if you step away from this business and you're contributing a lot of revenue yourself by clinically treating patients, this business is way too dependent on you. If you step out, you become injured, you become sick or anything like that, your profit is going to, it's going to absolutely plummet. Far too many times I see practice owners, and the only way they're actually making money is because they're clinically still seeing patients. In short, if you're in that situation, you've got a very stressful job. So ask yourself, how much revenue are you personally contributing to your business in comparison to your other practitioners? That is ceiling number 2. Ceiling number 3, decision fatigue. I can remember the moment that I actually hit decision fatigue in my practice. So what is decision fatigue? So what I'm really talking about is, are you being involved in way too many decisions in your practice? Are there questions that are coming across your plate? Do you feel like perhaps you're the only one that can answer those questions? Perhaps you actually are the only one that can answer those questions and make those decisions. But for me, I remember driving to my parents' house one day for dinner after work, and I actually got lost on the way there, and I couldn't remember how to get to their house. I was so fatigued mentally by all the decisions I was making. This also reminds me of one of my great clients, Grant. He's a physiotherapist in Sydney. When he came to us, he also hit the same point. He was working really hard, took a lot of pride in the fact that he could easily do 60-hour weeks with patients. He was all over that, but it was the mental fatigue that finally got to him, and he actually confided in me. He said, look, I'm at the point where I'm just not enjoying practice anymore. He wasn't enjoying his social life. He was becoming reclusive, and it's all because he hit this brain fatigue, this mental fatigue, this decision fatigue. That is ceiling number 3. So if you've got 1, 2, or 3 of those issues going on right now, not only has your business hit a ceiling, but you're on the verge of certain decline. It's just a matter of time. You've got to do something about it. You've got to start holistically looking at your business and designing this to operate without you, to operate because of you, but without being dependent upon you. So how do we go about solving these problems and breaking through these ceilings? Well, firstly, number 1, let's take a look at your hours, where your time's actually going. Here's a really quick hack for you. Like right now, block out thinking time. It is the number 1 thing that you need as a business owner. You actually need to have thinking time to get clarity to grow your business. The other suggestion I have for you is be very strict, be very disciplined on when you start work and when you finish work. Don't take that home with you. All your work needs to be done within your actual working hours. Number 2, you've got to stop being the main revenue raiser. I mean, and sometimes I know that sometimes you actually have to be, so at least start planning towards this, or if you're in a position where you can start cutting back, please start doing that, but don't cut back until you've bottled up your magic so that your team can treat patients the way that you do. And I don't mean clinically, by the way. That would be desirable too if they could. But what I really mean is, what is the magic you've got bottled up so that your patients like you so much that so they refer to you, they come back and they follow your advice. Let's bottle that up, then train your team so they can come in and they can get the same magic across. So they get really busy, they drive revenue, and you can actually pull back. And then number 3, let's solve this decision fatigue by actually elevating your team and empowering them and managing them and leading them so they can run the business for you. So here's the thing, I used to think this all the time, and I had this moment of clarity where I realized it is not my role to grow the company. It is my role to provide the best environment for my team to grow my company. So that is your role, to provide the best environment and the best opportunity for your team to grow your business. So elevate your team and free yourself up. If you found this valuable, please give it a big thumbs up, and also make sure that you subscribe to my channel. That way you'll never miss any advice on how to grow your practice. Now, if you also want to connect, have a conversation with us about how we may be able to help you grow your practice, like we've done with over 2,000 practice owners over the last decade. Like currently, we have 463 members inside our private coaching program. Perhaps you would like to learn what we do inside that program, how we help our members, and whether that will be applicable for you. Well, there's a link in the description below. Click that. Let's have a conversation. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you soon.